He did live a very full life. He has the most fun and crazy stories from when he was young.
The fiancé of a man who's missing after being swept under river ice explains who he was as the search continues for him and another person.
The snow conditions, from what we were told by the guides, are, it's like concrete.
Plus, new images of the area of the fatal avalanche that killed 3 out-of-state heli-skiers this week. We have the latest developments.
And temperatures are dropping statewide. I'll let you know what that means for conditions this weekend and the rest of spring break.
Covering Iditarod 53, we have the latest details looking what's happening on the trail.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
It's obviously hard for everyone, but to be there in that situation, that is traumatizing.
A woman mourns her fiancé, one of 2 men who is missing tonight after the ATV they were on or riding slipped through the ice of the Susitna River.
Lauren Maxwell tells us one of those men was an Iron Dog musher.
Well, that's right. Sky Wrench had just finished his first Iron Dog race, a lifelong dream, according to his fiancée, Heidi Guzin. Now, Wrench was on a job with several other men headed for a remote work site Thursday morning. Guzin says they were doing a crew change when it happened and had to cross the river on their ATV.
5 of them were on a side-by-side, and the back end went through the ice, and 3 of them were able to get out of the side-by-side, and I guess they tried to help them get out of the water, Sky and Sean, and they weren't able to, and they ended up going under the water, the ice.
And troopers say they've been looking for the missing men from the air because the ice is too thin to safely land or put people or equipment on top of it. And we've also learned that the other man who is missing is Sean Kendall. Alaska's news source is talking to his wife this evening. We hope to have a lot more information tonight on the Late Edition.
As we learn all too often in Alaska, a day trip into the backcountry can turn deadly, unfortunately, very, very quick. As we see time and time again every single year, despite how much you prepare.
3 days after heli-skiers David Linder, Charles Eppard, and Jeremy Leaf were killed in an avalanche outside of Girdwood, Alaska state troopers have stopped the recovery efforts.
Quinn White joins us now and explains the reasons behind that decision. Quinn?
John, Rebecca, troopers have been working with Chugach Powder Guides in its recovery efforts this week after a group of skiers who were on a trip with the company were caught in a deadly avalanche. But now they say it's too dangerous to continue.
Right now, it's just not safe to have people down there in that debris field. We'll, again, continue to assess that with the heli-ski operator, with other entities to, again, try to come up with a strategy that keeps recovery team members safe and will, again, bring us with the ultimate goal of bringing closure to these 3 families and their loved ones.
This is an aerial look of the scene, and the men are believed to be buried between 40 and 100 feet of snow. Guides who were on scene the day of the avalanche say the conditions were like concrete. Troopers say they are very challenging conditions in a very challenging location that's only accessible by helicopter. Now, troopers will continue to monitor the area until the skiers are recovered, but they don't know how long it will take. Quinn White, Alaska's news source.
And of course, we are seeing a wide variety of conditions, both in Anchorage and in the backcountry.
Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry is tracking those conditions and has the latest alerts. Melissa?
Yeah, the good news is we have seen that avalanche danger come down slightly, but the bad news is it is still really dangerous in the backcountry, and that possibility for large human and natural caused avalanches is still very high. So considerable avalanche danger as soon as you get into that tree line, and the Chugach National Forest Avalanche Information Center, who is tracking these conditions and putting out these forecasts daily, is still recommending that you avoid that steep terrain, to stay in the lower terrain without that steeper terrain above you until we start to see improving conditions. Now, we are seeing mostly dry conditions at this point near Girdwood, down into Whittier and through Turnagain Pass, but we do still have a few showers further east across Prince William Sound. We are still seeing blizzard conditions through Thompson Pass and a wintry mix down near near Cordova. Those winds will stay strong through the remainder of tonight into tomorrow morning. Also, still seeing heavy snow and high winds along the Klondike Highway. That winter weather advisory in effect until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. And out west, it's time to prepare for the next storm, already pushing into the Bering Sea. High winds, heavy snow through the Aleutians, and that'll move into southwest Alaska during the day tomorrow. In Anchorage, beautiful sunset tonight. A few high cirrus clouds, but it is dry and it is going to stay dry as we head into the weekend. You may have noticed, though, those temperatures are already starting to come down, both in Anchorage and in the interior. Picked up about 2 inches of snow in Fairbanks today. First snow we've seen in the month of March. First snow really in a couple weeks. We will see dry conditions now in the interior, mid-20s in Fairbanks. A little bit of a rain-snow mix in Juneau. And again, that snow moving into Bethel tomorrow night. And I'll have a closer look at that full statewide forecast here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Melissa. Well, today Fairbanks joins a nationwide rally for science. They're worried about the cuts to science programs in federal agencies and the possibility of cuts at universities. The rally is held at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where nearly 170 people chanted and held signs. They're about the high number of people who work in the science field and those impacts, and that includes lost jobs, fears of losing free speech, and the risk to public safety.
You know, that volcano observatory is developing techniques to monitor volcanoes that are being replicated all over the country and, in fact, all over the world. And so it's a big safety thing for aviation, for example. So if you put that infrastructure in place and then you don't maintain it, well, you've wasted a lot of money and effort.
Of course, Fairbanks is a huge scientific community. President Trump spoke earlier this week about why he thinks the cuts are necessary.
We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon, and I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to for the sake of our country.
Now be sure to download the Alaska's News Source app for more details on this story, as well as the rest of our coverage.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.